let's talk about the imports that are on their way to France that will be playing in the top 14 and the Pro D2, because there's a lot of movement from around the world into France, and that's what we're going to sum up on this video. I'm Tim, this is FR UK Rugby, and Joe Worsley is in his little holiday retreat. I don't know, chateau, Joe, in Bordeaux?
I think chateau's a bit extravagant. I think posh beach hut is probably more accurate.
That's all right. We're all looking forward to visiting your beach hut sometime soon, for sure.
We should.
And we'll be able to come and see some some household names in UK and Irish rugby when we do. I'm just going to rattle through some of these movements and you give your thoughts in no particular order, although I am going to start in Pro D2 with our mate Courtney Lawes off to Brive, the club you're coaching at, Joe. How big a move is that for Brive? How's he settled in?
He is settling in really well already, and think about it, Ross Moriarty is already there. So you got two Lions in the back row in Pro D2. So it's pretty epic, isn't it? So it sums up kind of the level of French rugby and professionalism. The fact that you've got two British Lions in the back row at a club in the second division in France.
I should have said, actually, please leave your comments down below and give this video a thumbs up. As we're getting loads of positive comments on the content. You giving a thumbs up doesn't cost anything, doesn't take you any time, but it helps spread the word and get us out there, because we want to reach as many eyeballs and tell everyone how good the rugby is in France. And I will say as well, an interview with Courtney Lawes that we did before he left Northampton when he was packing up his home to move to Brive is in the channel as well. Mako, an England teammate of Courtney Lawes in that 2019 Rugby World Cup final, he's gone to Van. I'll come back. Actually, I'll circle back to that because Van aren't Pro D2 anymore. But George North to Provence. There's another Pro D2 move.
Yeah, I think they already signed the papers and he blew his Achilles out. So it's never a nice situation for them. But the French clubs, the way they are, I'm sure they'll look after him and hopefully get him back and get him fit, because obviously he's had a few injuries, George, but they need it. Again, they're a team who need a player like him. He's pretty special. And if he is fit, he can do pretty epic things.
Where is Soyo Angoulême? Have I said that right? Because that's where Johnny May's gone.
It's about an hour and a half from Bordeaux, near Cognac, which is an hour and a half from La Rochelle as well. It's Angoulême. Yeah, Johnny May is there. Actually spoke to him the other day. We're going to tee up an interview with him because I think it'd be gold, him finding out about a real local French rugby club. It's a smaller town. It's not a massive club with a long history. But Johnny's gone in and he is enjoying it. But I want to wait and see what his take on that whole French experience is.
All right, now let's go to the top 14 signings. Then there's quite a few of these, and I've already mentioned one. Van promoted from Pro D2, and they have recruited Mako Vunipola. How do you think he should fit in with his style and how he plays in French rugby?
Van, it's difficult. The situation when you get promoted quite late because it's a playoff game. A playoff game to get promoted. Whoever wins that goes up into top 14. Now, it's late in the season. Players have already been signed early in the season, so you're left with whatever is on the market, unless you've got the money and the balls to sign people a lot earlier. Now, Mako came onto the market at that point, and they snapped him up in a heartbeat. Francis Sailly. There's a couple of other good players they've signed up. Players that happen to be on the market at the right time. But Mako hopefully can go in. And we're talking before about players like Johnny Wilkinson, players like Owen Farrell, who can go into a club and lift it up. Mako's experienced that. Mako was a leader at Saracens for many years, one of the main guys. So if they want someone who can go in and set an example, show people what they should be doing and lead, he'll be doing that. Even though obviously he won't be speaking French, I'm sure he'll be an attribute to that club, not only on the pitch, but off it. One thing I've got to say here, he's pretty old now. His body's pretty weathered. Whether he can get on the pitch week in, week out, we'll have to wait and see. His brother's off to
Montpellier.
Montpellier,
yeah. And so is Stuart Hogg. Their signings, it doesn't seem to be a lot of strategy with the signings. It's just, that's a name. Chuck them some cash.
Yeah, I mean, they do some mad stuff. Obviously, they won the league a couple of years back and then the relegation battle and had a playoff game to stay in the top 14, despite being a team, not the wealthiest in the league, but one of the top half anyway. They got a good budget, so it's tough to see why they've. It's hard to see the plan behind who they've signed. Sometimes I think if there's someone on the market who's good or they like the look of, they'll just go for it without too much thought to the long-term plan, the balance of the squad, and who we actually need.
They'd have been incredible signings in 2020. It's going to be interesting to see whether they're good signings right now. We'll wait and see on that one. One that I think maybe has gone under the radar, but could be a really effective signing, going to Racing is Sam James, the other Northerner that's going there, along with Owen Farrell, who obviously everyone knows about, and that's box office.
Yeah, completely. I think Sam James has been just dogging away for sale for so long. I'm sure he's a signing that Lancaster's known about and seen working hard and used his knowledge of English rugby to bring in someone that could fill a hole for them. So yeah, he's not a household name by any stretch, but he's a good club player who can play a long season without too many injuries and get through that 11-month season. It's an endurance event, the top 14. Having players like him in your squad really helps, definitely helps. And Faz, again, he needs him to come in, and Stuart wants them working harder than they've ever worked before. And hopefully Faz will be the guy who, a la Moses, leads them to the light and gets them to where they need to get to.
Do you think Faz has got that aura to pull that role off for Stuart Lancaster?
Certainly at Saracens he did. In English, he's somebody who can control a room and just through his sheer competitive nature can drag everyone along with him. Now, some of that competitive nature doesn't need translation. You can pick up on it and sense it around people. I think the French players sense that around Sean Edwards. He can't always explain exactly what he means, but they get it because he is so intense that he can get that across to them anyway. Owen's at that similar level of intensity, and I think that will translate across to them in some way. I'm sure he'll be already working his arse off to speak as much French as possible as well.
Now to Toulon, they were signing English players before it was cool. They're Johnny Wilkinson back in the day, and,
Yeah.
and they seem to be a happy home for England players. Kieran Brooks has been there recently, Jack Singleton, Dave Ribbons, and Dave Ribbons' mate from Northampton Saints, Lewis Ludlam, is heading out there, as is from Bristol, Kyle Sinclair. How do you see those two fitting in?
Yeah, I think they're reinforcing their pack. They're changing over a few players. They've made quite a few signings. It's an interesting situation they're in. Sinclair, Ludlam are going to add to that. Ribbons has had a really good year. He's very popular there with the fans, with the management. He's had a banging season. He's the kind of player the French love, just running around smashing things, roughing people up, pushing hard in scrums and balls. He's really done a good job for them. Sinclair hopefully can go in and produce that kind of form we saw when he's picked for the British Lions and playing well for England. So yeah, he's capable of doing special things as well. Maybe for how Toulon play, that will suit him more than Bristol with their habit of making a million passes a game and playing a different style. Toulon's going to be more about, when the moment comes, just smashing it, a lot of physicality to create those moments. So he'll be part of a very physical team. And Ludlam, we know he's a physical player who can defend well, a high number of actions, dog it out. He'll be an attribute to their team, that's for sure. So I think they're all good signings at Toulon, English-wise.
Another Northampton Saint is off to Lyon, Sam Matavesi. I don't know what that's going to leave, how that's going to leave his Navy career, but he's off. Maybe he'll join the French Navy while he's there.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm not sure he'll quite do that, but the Lyon team's really desperate for forwards, for front five especially. They've signed 6 or 7 front row forwards, I think. A couple of second rows, more second rows, and some back row. They bought so many backs and attacking-minded players last year. They just had a catastrophic season as a result. They're a very imbalanced squad, so I think they're trying to level that out at the moment. And he, for one, is one of the guys. Skill level's really high. He's a little bit old, maybe, but his style of play will really suit what they want to do on the pitch.
Well, you said they've signed a load of players. Like you're in a role as a coach and have been in France for 10 years. How difficult is that to get a load of new players in and get that cohesion? How long does that take?
Yeah, it's very difficult. But the guy who took over, Gegenbacher, from he's relatively inexperienced as a head coach. He came in and he inherited a lot of players and coaches in a situation, so he couldn't really put his imprint on that. So I think a lot of these signings are now probably him realising what happened last year and trying to get to the situation where they are signing a squad that's got better balance than they had last year. The squad last year was one which was a very attacking minded and took relatively well at times and took so much risk, exposed themselves terribly a number of times and gave up so many points. I think they had the worst record in the league apart from Oyonnax defensively, which is due to sometimes defending poorly, but also due to forcing the offloads, trying too much and giving up possession and dangerous moments. So I think they're trying to correct that with players like Matavesi.
All right, Joe, you're sat in Bordeaux, or just outside of Bordeaux right now. I want to finish with the UBB signings. Interesting ones. What are they thinking with Johnny Gray from Exeter Chiefs and Joey Carberry from Munster?
Yeah, so Johnny Gray's a good one. He's a dog who can run around smashing and tackling, and again, that high number of actions. He's very good at that, and he's the kind of player they need. They've got Coleman, they've got Cazot, who's not bad at that, and they've lost Kane Douglas, who's a little bit old, has gone to La Rochelle. And now Johnny Gray will come in. He's going to bring that high number of actions, physicality, and that side of his play to a team that really need that. We saw and talked about the final against Toulouse, the difference, the physicality of that Toulouse team, even though they're missing Miafu, Gillon, and a couple of other players, was just dominated UBB team. And UBB will carry on doing what they did last year in terms of the attack. They're going to need physical players who can front up in a physical match against teams like La Rochelle or Stade Francais and beat them. Okay, they got to have to do this, but then they need to face up to teams like Toulouse, who again can be physical, and they've got the X factor as well. So UBB need players like that, and Johnny Gray is a vital part of that. They've signed 3 other back row players, I think 2 of whom are hitters and physical players. So I think they've recognised the issue and they're trying to correct it. Carberry, on the other hand, Jalibert does get injured a bit, and he also will be away of France a fair bit. So they wanted a second choice fly. In effect, he will be second choice fly half, and he'll be covering for Jalibert when he's not there. And the attack coach at Bordeaux, Noel, is Irish and will know Carberry inside out.
Yeah, so Jalibert's been injured, so they want to sign someone who spent most of the last 5 years injured. So I hope Joey Carberry has better luck with
Maybe they didn't check out that side of things too well.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what the truth is. I hear rumours that if as soon as you sign for France, if you get injured, the government pays a chunk of the salary to the clubs anyway, so they don't care about injuries. Is that true?
They're insured, so you get to They're insured, so you get to sign someone else called a medical joker, which is we talked about Botier before a while back, and he came into the club because someone got injured. And you get money paid to the insurance, and then you can buy somebody else. And you're only allowed 35 guys in the pro squad, with academy boys allowed to fill up a few more.
Okay.
So you need to fill that spot, and that money pays for that extra spot normally.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. Very briefly, I'll just mention that Saito, the Japanese scrum half, has been signed from Sun Goliath as a backup to Antoine Dupont. Saw him play against England.
Yeah, I don't reckon he'll be backup. I think he'll be third choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
of course.
I think he will be. I think he had a banging season last year. I mean, he'll be replacing I'm trying to remember his bloody name now. His third choice 9 for him. No, Baptiste Germain. He's gone to Bayonne. Phenomenally talented player, just incredibly skillful, but it just wasn't getting enough game time to develop, so he decided to leave. That's what he's going in at third choice from half. An incredible player like that.
Yeah. Well,
it's pretty special.
It's not
he might force his way up. We'll see.
Yeah, it's not a hard sell to go and be part of the scrum half stable with the best in the business. And then you mentioned Bayonne. Just finally, Manu Tuolangi, Alex Moon's gone there as well, second row. Not a big unit, and they've got themselves a big unit. Again, injuries. If he can stay fit, what sort of an impact can Manu Tuolangi have on the top 14?
Yeah, we were talking about insurance earlier. Manu could be it's ensured they could buy a really phenomenal player if he does get terribly injured. But hopefully he'll stay fit, because we all know when Manu is fit, he gives you that straight up and down part of the game with a power carrying back that can really just create off launch plays off any attacking position. He can create just phenomenal go forward ball and create those moments which a team like Bayonne can just rip to shreds with afterwards. So if he stays fit, he can give them more of those kind of moments they missed. So they got another big carrying French 12. He's not nearly as powerful as Manu when he's fit, so I think they like having that guy as the big carrier as an option. And if Manu can stay fit, he'll be able to give him some special moments to hopefully create some more amazing tries.
Here's hoping so. There we go. There's wrapped up some of the big signings of the names that you'll know from the UK, from Ireland, from elsewhere. And we'll be featuring more of the clubs as we get closer to the start of the season in the top 14. So hit subscribe on the video, give it a thumbs up, leave your comments down below, and we'll see you on the next one.